Welcome to this author reading of the book Find the Beauty, a trilogy of fairy tales for the modern age. Today we'll be reading the second book in the trilogy, Fae Folk Find a Way. Once, not so long ago, in a land not so far away, the Council of Fairies was having their annual meeting. The mood was way too somber for the wee folk, who are normally quite festive and merry. But alas, they were discussing the state of current affairs. "No one visits our lands anymore," said the speaker of the forest fairies. "And when they do, they just run through without even seeing the trees. Like all they care about is, what's that word? Exercise," he said with disgust. "It's no better for us," said the speaker of the meadow fairies. "Humans want to come and get their photos taken in front of our beautiful fields of flowers, but not once did they stop and inhale their beautiful scents," she said as she stomped her tiny little foot. "It's even worse for us," complained the leader of the water nymphs. "They love to play and cool themselves in our healing waters, but then they pollute them with all types of foul human trash. And when we try to play with them, we just get splashed away like they don't even see us," she sighed. The leader of the woodland fairies jumped down from his perch on a toadstool and stood in the middle of the circle. "Of course they don't see us," he exclaimed. "Humans haven't been able to see us for eons, and they've forgotten completely how to talk to plants and animals." He climbed back on his toadstool as the trees overhead bent their boughs in agreement. There was much grumbling around the fairy ring as Aurora, the leader of the star fairies, fluttered down from her perch above. Although she was ancient in fairy years, she looked as beautiful as the freshest of the recently hatched fairies. Whenever she flew, she was followed by a trail of pixie dust that glimmered in the sunlight. It was rumored that she was a direct descendant of Queen Titiana herself, and the whole flutter quieted as she landed in the circle. "What is the world coming to if even the Fae folk are in despair?" She smiled as the fairies giggled, realizing the irony. After all, they knew their reputation as being the ultimate optimists. "There is too much complaining going on. You sound so human. What I want to hear are solutions." Aurora pointed to the very shy leader of the garden fairies. "What are you going to do about it?" she asked. Luna stood up on her daisy perch. She spoke quietly. "We are helping the fruits and vegetables ripen. That seems to make some humans happy." Yes, but that's not enough," said Aurora. "As Elmwood said, they don't see us anymore, and except for a few, they don't seem to hear us either. Does anyone here remember King Stephen of Carta?" There was a buzzing of excitement among the flutter, as many of the fairies indeed remembered King Stephen. He was a human that understood the nature spirits, although it was a time long ago in lands far away. King Stephen could not only see the Fae folk, but communicate with them as well, so they bestowed upon him the gift of all the knowledge of the fairy realms. In turn, his lands prospered, and the people of his kingdom felt the love and presence of the wee folk, even if they couldn't all see them. Gaia, the speaker of the earth fairies, stood up on the rock she had alighted on and flapped her wings. "I remember the words the king always used," she said loudly. "Find the beauty, feel the love." "Yes," exclaimed Aurora as she hovered above. "If you can't find the beauty around you, you will never feel the love that exists all around." His kingdom was almost lost when the people forgot to look for the beauty that exists in everything. "Humans barely notice the most beautiful lands we have," complained the leader of the Highland Elves. "That's true. So how do we get the humans to truly see?" asked Nixie for the water nymphs. Aurora hovered above the circle and said, "It's a rare human that can see us, let alone talk with us, but many humans feel our communications. They may not know that the reason they feel so much better when they're walking out in nature is because we are transferring our love to them, but they know it makes them happy. So let us find ways to help them feel our love. For we all understand that love is a physical manifestation of beauty, and we can see the beauty everywhere. What can we do to help them see it? by continually whispering in their ears. Soon after that, the council meeting broke up and the different troops of fairies gathered to discuss their plans. The garden fairies decided to whisper, "Find the beauty, feel the love," in the ear of every gardener as they harvested their crops. The woodland fairies talked to the trees and made plans to shout the saying with every gentle breeze that rustled the leaves. The water nymphs agreed to sing the saying with every wave that rolled in. The meadow fairies and the flower fairies agreed to chant the mantra every time a flower bloomed. The highland fairies saved the saying in every rock and boulder and pebble, so when the humans came through, they could hear the echo. The forest fairies spread the word to every creature in their lands, so they could all encourage the humans to see and hear the beauty around them. Soon the saying, "Find the beauty, feel the love," was being whispered, sung, chanted, and shouted across all of the fairy realms. And slowly, after some time, the humans began to change. They began to get outside more, enjoy the plants and animals more, notice the rhythms of nature more. They may not have known that the whispering of the wind or the lapping of the water carried the message, but an ancient part of them began to hear it. They even began to comment on the beauty they found around them, in even the most mundane. And as humans found the beauty, they indeed began to feel more loved and became more loving, and the world became a better place. Some humans even began to see fairies again. The end. Do you spend much time outdoors? Why or why not? When you are outside, do you listen to hear the wind in the trees or the sounds of the water? Have you heard anything unusual? When you get out in nature, does it change the way you feel? In what ways? Can you find as much beauty in a city as out in nature? Do you think fairies prefer to live in the city or the country? Thank you so much for following along on Book 2 of Find the Beauty. I hope you have a very good day.